Welcome to Puny Pod's Monthly Bugle for December of 2024. My name is Ryan, and my co-host this merry holiday season is David. David, we're coming off the back of recording a super secret spoiler show. It's the holiday season. How are we feeling tonight?
I still have to buy presents for my family, but other than that sense of impending dread and nervousness, I'm doing well. How are you? How are you?
I am not too shabby. And for the listeners, I think we're gonna release this on Christmas Eve. I think that's the way this works out, because that's the next Tuesday, and we're ending our Endgame saga of 4 episodes here on Thursday before Christmas. So I think this is gonna release on Christmas Eve, which is also Hanukkah Eve this year. So
Okay.
Happy Hanukkah, Happy Christmas to all of our listeners.
I thought for a second you were going to say, "Hey, we're going to record on Christmas Eve." I'm like, man, I might have to clue with fam.
Yeah.
Because I got to make carnitas and queso fundido for Christmas dinner.
Nice.
Yeah.
What are you putting in the fundito?
In terms of the cheese, or in terms of
You
like
putting
what?
any meat? Are you putting your carnitas in it, or what?
No, that's separate. You'll do there'll be a little pork. There'll be a little bit of like onion. So some chorizo, some onion, some. I'm trying to remember all the cheeses.
Oaxaca.
Yeah, a little bit of that, a little bit of sharp. It's really good. It's really good.
I love it's actually been a couple of times we've recorded that's actually been dinner, where I've like fixed it and then I'll like put it in the oven in the big cast iron, and then I'll let Lisa pull it out and feed her and Ted. So
that sounds great. Yeah, so we've got like my wife, she bought like a homemade like tortilla press years ago.
Nice.
So some tortillas. The carnitas recipe is like well practiced at this point in time. So it's this kind of gluttonous, like, oh, what am I having for dinner? I'm going to have pork, and I'm going to have cheese and pork in a tortilla, and then pass out. And the next day I'm like, hello, Christmas. Like, that's what we've done every year. Awesome. It's fun. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I just realized I didn't add this to the show notes, but I have other Marvel stuff that I did. You talking about tacos made me remember that I did 2 stops at the same taco spot during this vacation, but I just did some travel that had some Marvel stuff in it. So I'm going to take a quick minute before we get to the news and talk about that for a quick second. So I did go out to San Diego beginning of December. My wife had a conference out there, and so I got to screw around, and part of my screwing around, I actually went to the Comic-Con Museum. You guys might have seen some of my posts on social media about it. Really cool museum, honestly. It's small. I'd say maybe a touch overpriced for what it is. It was $25 to get in. And it had like 3 major exhibits plus some like side exhibits. Some cool old comics and old like toys and stuff in there from Marvel stuff, like old Migos and whatnot. So pretty neat little thing. I would say if you're in San Diego, go check that out. Also on that trip, we went up and we visited Disneyland. And during that visit, we got to see the new Avengers shop, which if you are in the Anaheim area, go check that Avengers shop out. I think it's called like Avengers Reserve. You don't have to go into the parks. You don't have to pay. It's in downtown Disney. So they've got this cool big statue of Hulk on the outside, little tiny statues of Ant-Man and the Wasp up in the facade. Spider-Man's up on the facade. On the inside, you got like Ghost Spider and Rocket and Groot and tons of artifacts up on the walls. Plus, like a bunch of cool Marvel stuff. They had like a Christmas tree because it was Christmas time. They had a Christmas tree made out of comic book pages, which was really neat. So yeah, go check that out if you are like go into the parks, or if you are anywhere near Anaheim, go for sure. Check out Avengers Reserve. Again, it's in downtown Disney, so you don't got to pay the $200 to get into the park or whatever. You can just go hang out, go get some Din Tai Fung, get some good dumplings, and then go hang out at the Avengers shop. So
So where is it again on the
like
downtown
in
Disney?
downtown Disney. So it is in the new area right by Din Tai Fung. So Din Tai
Yeah. Okay.
Fung is in where, for those familiar with Disneyland at all, it's on the end near the hotels. So near Disneyland Hotel, they replaced what used to be the AMC Theater. There was Earl of Sandwich over there. There were some other things. They tore down that building, and they're building it back up. And there's a lawn there with a really nice stage, which is I side note, I'm a Disney Parks fan and I nerd out about this stuff. I think actually the stage and lawn is a really nice addition to downtown Disney. But um, yeah, right there. There's two new shops that opened in the last month. One is called D-Lander, and it's like Disney's collaboration work. So like their Lululemon collaboration, they're like Vera Bradley and that sort of stuff
Okay.
that they do. And then next to it is the Avengers Reserve, which is all Marvel stuff. Um, it's basically right across the street from the Star Wars stuff too. So
Okay. Yeah, I remember last time we were there, they were building out. They had some walls up, but you could see the facade of the structure they were building there. So it sounds like it's right across from the old. Oh, what was the restaurant?
ESPN Zone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, ESPN Zone's like across the street, right
Got it.
there. The street, quote unquote. But
So near, not just south of the or near the Lego store, right?
yeah, closer to the hotels than the Lego store.
Yep. Got it.
Yep. Yep. So it's pretty cool, and like I say, even if you just go to check it out for the ambiance, it's like it's a rad store. Like just the stuff that's on the walls and the statues and stuff. It's good quality statues. It's not just cardboard cutouts or something. It's good, Disney Imagineering style statues and stuff.
I just feel sorry for my family next time we go down there. Like, hey, I'm just gonna go to the store for like 4 hours. Go enjoy the parks, and I'll catch
Yeah,
up
there you go.
on the Pirates of the Caribbean. Anyway,
So yeah, I realized that. I apologize, David, that I commandeered the podcast there for a second,
it's
but
completely fine.
you know.
I will allow it.
So yeah, let's move into some Marvel news. We've got a few things in store. So we have a little bit of news this month, a few things we want to address, and then actually we're gonna do a year in review. So we're gonna do it Christmas themed. We're gonna do some fun year in review with a little bit of a Christmas theme on it. Um, so some news though that came out recently, we did see the announcement that Chris Evans has been cast for Doomsday. Will be coming back. What do you think, David? Is he going to play Cap? Is he going to play some version of Cap? What you think?
So I watched a video. So at the end of Endgame, there's young Cap disappears, puts back Infinity Stones. He's old Cap, and the directors and writers had inconsistent stories as to what happened to Cap.
Mm-hmm.
I think, as I recall, there was one camp that said he went back to the 40s, had his life with Peggy, and it created its own branch chain reality. And then there was another camp which said, I think it was the directors who said that, like, no, he was still in 616 and he just was quiet the whole time and he lived his life and appeared at this later spot. Doomsday is now it's looking like it's going to be this wild collection of characters whom we have seen before. So we have Robert Downey Jr. is coming back as Doctor Doom. I think Cap might come back as an alternate version of Cap. Like, I mean, Chris Evans will come back as an alternate MCU version of Captain America. You'll
Think Hydra
have
Cap?
maybe you have Sam Wilson cap. Like, it's gonna be wild.
Yeah, definitely. I think this is going to be the fun side of multiversal. Like, this isn't going to be wrap your head around different things. This is like, I think Doomsday is going to have a touch of what if, where it's like we don't really explain how we got there, but we
Yeah,
got there,
yeah,
right. Star-Lord or T'Challa is Star-Lord type of stuff, right?
right.
Like, it's a loose plot to get there, but we got there, and here's this thing. I don't know that Chris Evans is going to play that big of a role. I think that this could just be a, hey, let's say we got this guy. It's going to be more than a cameo. I don't expect that he's going to reprise his role as Johnny Storm.
Ah, bummer. Be still my heart.
Avengers Flame On. Um,
I think he's going to have more than a minor role.
yeah, that's
I
fair.
think I think he'll be in for. Um, Once you see the Russos are back, I can't remember if it's McFeely or Marcus who's
Both
writing it. Only
Marcus
one of
and
them is.
McFeely, I think.
Is it McFeely? Okay. I think they're going to go back to the hits,
Yeah,
and I think we will again because of the not to get into too much, but like to get into the kind of up and down of the multiverse, the major stuff, the kind of like having to like veer and reassess and then kind of like spin out from there. I think it's going to feel a little more phase 3
yeah,
than we would normally expect. So I think we're going to see hella people back.
that's fair. I could see that. I definitely could see that where like it's almost the Force Awakens um recipe, right? Where it's like, let's just replay the hits. Play the hits again and make some cash real quick.
Is Hanzo going to get killed again? Is that what you're saying? Sorry, spoiler
No,
for
but
a 10-year-old movie. Kidding.
Loki will probably get killed again.
Oh,
Oh,
R.I.P. Loki. I have like I trust what they're doing.
yeah.
I think it'll be good. Um, we'll get to
It seems
the.
safe. It
It's
seems safe.
super safe, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looking over here, so moving on to another confirmation we got recently. So Nate Moore, who's an executive within Marvel, he's a producer within Marvel Studios. He's actually leaving the studios um, after a few movies. But one of the things that came out of the interviews where he was leaving is that we actually saw, I think it was Kevin Feige said, we get the good fortune we have the good fortune of working with him in a new way on our next Black Panther movie, which would indicate a Black Panther 3 is in the works. This is the first we have heard of this. This is the first like hint towards a third Black Panther that we have heard. So pretty exciting stuff there. Definitely great to see the Black Panther title living on. It will likely be a Shuri Black Panther movie, I would imagine, which I'm excited for. I'm glad that she gets like a whole movie as Black Panther instead of just like a movie where she struggles with the idea of being Black Panther and then becomes Black Panther halfway through. I'm excited that she gets a movie where she's actually Black Panther.
Yeah, and you can see where you have more time in Wakanda, and yeah, it makes perfect sense, right?
Yeah. And then staying with movies for a second here, but moving outside the MCU, Spider-Verse got some updates. So I believe, I forget what the final one's supposed to be called, but I think it's Beyond Spider-Verse. Um, but it did get a directing team. So Bob Perschetti, who was part of the directing team for the first Spider-Verse movie, as well as executive producing the second one, and Justin K. Thompson, who was the production designer for the first Spider-Verse movie, will be directing this final Spider-Verse movie, which is really exciting. You know, obviously the design, the production design, and the visual design of Spider-Verse is something that sets it apart. So I think Justin K. Thompson, you know, getting the nod as director makes a lot of sense. He designed his way into a very, very cool universe, and so getting to direct it makes a lot of sense to me. And then obviously Bob Perchetti has some resume there.
Right, right. Um, this is going to be a 2026 release, I believe. Right?
Yeah, that's we got a little bit of a pseudo delay. Nobody knows for sure. There were a lot of articles that came out that were like, it won't be out till 2027. That wasn't said anywhere. That was extrapolated from a Deadline article that was like summing up how bad Craven was doing. I think what's
Whoa,
funny is
whoa, whoa.
you actually screenshotted and sent me other parts of that article. But everybody's like grabbing onto this one line that like Deadline wrote. It wasn't quoted from anyone that was saying it likely won't have that Spider-Verse won't or will likely not have a release until 2027. Now I will say one of the voice actors, Jerome, um, was what did give an interview and did mention that they have not started voice work for the final Spider-Verse movie yet. So that would indicate, you know, it is a little further out. It might be challenging for it to come out in 2025.
It's 26.
2026 though seems
Yeah,
like it would make some sense.
totally. Yeah, makes total
Um,
sense.
2027 seems like maybe a little bit of a reach. People saying 2027 feels a
Um,
little out there.
yeah, I was gonna say unless you're gonna like crank out Madam Web 2 or
I guess
right.
that's news that I didn't list here is Sony is basically saying that they're done with their villains verse. Like it is cached. It is done.
I still have hope for Craven to make how much do I need? 700 million?
Oh, I didn't update the
It's
spreadsheet
fine.
yet, but
I think
yeah,
I won. It's fine. I
yeah.
won.
Wabaki, sir. Get your Wabaki and your American Snickers ready.
It's fine. It's fine. Yeah, I think we knew the Spider-Verse would take some time. I'm honestly surprised it was not like kind of back and back recorded, ready to go, but
Yeah.
it sounds like I think 2026 will be uh, th- the reason I think 2026 is more likely is like Sony is canning their extended Spider-Verse of villains. Originally they were trying to like build this like universe of villains, like we have Mobius, we've got Craven, we've got like all these anti-heroes, not quote unquote villains, right?
Right.
And they were going to show up in a team up and it was going to be their version of like, you know, Thunderbolts or whatever. And they didn't really, I mean, it's its own separate discussion as to what happened to that, but like it never really like grabbed audiences other than Venom. The first Venom did really well.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Did like 800 plus million and then it dropped off precipitously since then. So,
Yeah. Well, and I think the quality dropped off too. Like that first Venom was good. Um, but past that, it's just they've struggled. And I mean, they're making good animated content. Like Spider-Verse is
totally. Yeah, yeah.
legitimately some of the best superhero content out there right now. Um, so hopefully the focus there can help. So
Yeah.
moving on off of movies, I did want to make a mention of this. I don't know. I this is something that's really cool. I have not played this video game yet, but there was a Marvel video game released. It's called Marvel Rivals, launched earlier this month in December. It's a third-person hero shooter. For anybody familiar with video games, that's like the Overwatch games. So you pick your hero and um, you battle as your hero. Very light story, mostly focused on like multiplayer kind of gameplay. So not a whole lot of story aspects to it. A lot more on the just gameplay aspects. It's on PS5, Xbox Series X and S, as well as PC. Crossplay works, so you can play against your friends or with your friends who are playing on a different console. But your progression does not carry over if you play on multiple consoles. Um, it actually launched with more players than Overwatch 2. I think triple the amount of players that Overwatch 2 has. So that's a pretty big. That Overwatch 2 is like the largest in that genre, or was the largest in that genre. So Marvel Rivals kind of at launch already super outpaced that, which is great to see. And then here, less than a week in, um, they're at 20 million players. There's 20 million players playing this game, which is a really good number. That's a really exciting number. So, I want to go check it out. Multiplayer games like that aren't always, as I smack my mic, I'm sorry, listener. Multiplayer games like that are not always my cup of tea. But you know, I'm excited. I'm glad that something in our world is doing big numbers like that. That's really exciting for sure.
All right, so I'm a noob. I know nothing about this. Do I have to like download software? Do I have to pay a fee? Do I like what's how do I get into it?
Yeah, I think I don't remember if this one is a free to play. I do know that it's so you do have to download it, yes. And you have to have a device capable of playing it. So either a PC capable of it or a video game console.
Okay,
Um,
I've got my Nintendo Wii. Keep going.
and then from there, yeah, I do know that it does have like the battle pass. It has a battle pass kind of method, which for those totally in the totally like not in the know. Battle Pass is a modern thing that a lot of video games are doing, where they'll lower the cost of the initial game, but you have to pay every few months and you get to unlock a bunch of stuff. Um, so it's kind of a current method within video games. Something that Marvel Rivals is unique in, that people are really excited about, is that their battle passes don't expire. So typically they're time locked, and like you only have a few months to complete your battle pass, and then if anything that you don't complete, the rewards go away and you paid for nothing, right? The With Marvel Rivals, they're actually um making the battle pass last forever, which is kind of cool. So
That's cool.
yeah, that's something that it's being celebrated for. I also saw that its servers are really stable, which unfortunately right now in video games is not a given. Their video game servers tend to have a lot of problems, and end up with a lot of like downtime for players. And Marvel Rivals has been really stable, which in and of itself is an achievement. So really exciting. I'll probably give it a shot at some point. I actually this week started playing um Sony's Spider-Man 2, which has been really exciting. um and that's more of a single player, you play a Spider-Man type of situation. But yeah, Marvel Rivals, if you want, I guess, if somebody wants a taste of it, I do know that our network Twitch, Jason will sometimes get on there and he'll play Marvel Rivals. So if you want to see somebody play it or see how it's played, Jason plays it sometimes on there, so you might try and see if you can check a time when he's doing that.
Can I play as Madam Web?
I don't think Madam Web is in there, but Penn
Oh,
E.
I'm out.
Parker is.
Oh, that's fine.
She's
That's
one of the
fine.
characters. Yeah.
That's fine.
So that does it for our news. I do want to touch on some comic releases that hit Marvel Unlimited. I know, David, you scored Marvel Unlimited on Black Friday. I think they're still running a deal. So, listener, if you are still interested in Marvel Unlimited, check it out. I think it's now, I think at Black Friday, it was like 40 or $45 for the year. Um, right now I think it's running at like $50 for the year. So if you want to get into comics, really, really good place to do it. But I do want to run through just a few number one releases that got released in the last month on Marvel Unlimited. I'm only going to give their titles, not their descriptions, just because I'm less prepared than I expected to be. But I do want to highlight some of these because I noticed some of them are some things I think people will be interested in getting in on and reading. So, um, released in added to Marvel Unlimited um on it'll be added as of yesterday when this releases, but on the 23rd of December you do have the Spirits of Vengeance #1. So there's a few Ghost Riders right now, and so this is a comic about them. So really exciting, kind of story there. If you're into Ghost Rider, really great entry point, for sure. You have some Deadpool stuff that came out, and a lot of Venom War. So Venom War is kind of the big event going on right now. So you have a few different things, including some Deadpool in that area. Let's see, scrolling. Looking at the week of 12/16, so December 16th, Avengers Assemble #1. So that's an Avengers title, which I know people love Avengers titles. People sometimes want to get into reading Avengers, so that's a great place to enter there. With a #1, obviously. And then let's see here, more Venom War stuff. Moving on into December 9th, released on December 9th. We do have What If Donald Duck Became Thor that released. uh, but other than that, what did I see? Oh, they are starting a new Marvel Zombies series. So if you're into kind of the spooky, scary kind of Marvel zombie stuff, there is a new release for you there. And then pushing back a little bit further to the beginning of December, so December 2nd. This one I have to highlight. Aliens versus Avengers. So that's Aliens as in the
The movie?
Alien franchise. Yeah,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
movie. The 20th Century Fox franchise. Versus the Avengers. So that's kind of fun. They've been doing an imprint with 20 with the 20th Century Fox stories lately, so that's kind of fun. Deadpool has a team up that started on the 2nd of December, as well as there's a new Moon Knight, Phases of Moon Knight, that came out then. So if you were looking to get into any of those, really good entry points there. So yeah, those are kind of the major ones that had some entry points here. Since the last time we released a monthly bugle. Also, Miles Morales Spider-Man. I forgot about that. Miles Morales Spider-Man on, or no, that's a reprint. Sorry, I misread that one. That's a reprint from 2021. So not a #1 that released, but yeah, some good reading material if you want to get into comics. Oh yeah, Wolverine, that's not a reprint. Wolverine #1 came out in on the 25th of um November. So on Marvel Unlimited, both, I guess, and Dazzler. Dazzler also got a #1 that week. So a couple good entry points for sure. Go check those out. Some good places to start reading comics. We've been batting around some ideas about some comic stuff we might do. So if you are somebody who used to read comics and you want to read more, or if you haven't been in, or if you've been into the movies but never got into comics, there's some good entry points. So go check those out. You want to move on to the, we'll close it
You
out
ready to
here.
you are ready to unwrap some gifts?
Let's do it. I need JR to give me a jingle bell filled version of our theme.
Ba, ba,
Um
ba, da, ba, ba. Sorry. It's terrible.
So yeah, last year we did year in review, year in preview, all in January. This year we wanted to split it up a little bit, change it up, give you guys kind of a year in review here, and then next month in January we'll do a year in preview, 2025 in preview. Um, so yeah, year in review. I'm gonna run down all the projects that released this year, real quick, just so we kind of all remember what all came out this year. I think this is an exhaustive list as far as movies and TV shows go. I don't think we missed anything, but and then we'll do some Christmas gift miss themed awards for the year. So um MCU movies, we had just one this year in 2024. But it was a big one. We had Deadpool and Wolverine. Um, Little picture nobody saw. Just kidding.
I was
Literally
going to
everybody saw.
thank you. Thank you, director, actor strike. No, it was writers and actor strike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then moving on to our non-MCU movies, aka what?
My list.
Yeah, David's list for the bet.
Rough.
We had
Rough.
Madam Web. We had Venom: The Last Dance, and we had Craven the Hunter. All I think in the teens on Rotten Tomatoes. So rough
No,
year for some.
from a quote unquote critic perspective, but the audience loves them all. So let's not try to diminish those, my man.
um, Moving over to some TV shows, and honestly, this is where I think Marvel kind of shines a little bit right now. Um, so January we had Echo release on Hulu and Disney Plus. Spidey and His Amazing Friends season 3 also started airing in January of 2024. That's the preschool Spider-Man show. Trust me, I know all about it. Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur on Disney Plus also started releasing in February 2024. That's also a kids animated show. It's a little bit older than preschool, I would say. It's, early elementary kind of age. And then X-Men 97 released on Disney Plus in March of 2024. Hit Monkey released over on Hulu in July. It's an adult animation show. I have not watched it. I really have been meaning to. I've heard it's pretty good. So I do want to check that one out. And then Agatha All Along released in September, and we all got the Ballad of the Witch's Road stuck in our head.
Oh God, don't do it again.
Follow me, my friend.
Oh God, I hate you. I love you, but I hate you.
And then not quite a TV show, but not quite a movie was Marvel or Lego Marvel Avengers Mission Demolition, which released in October. It was just a short film. I think it was like 30 minutes long, maybe 60. But it's the Lego Marvel stuff. And then coming out after we record, but before we release, is What If Season 3, which I am very stoked for. We just got all the episode titles, which some of them sound interesting. I think one of them was like, What If Darcy Got Hitched? Which, given the trailer, I think she's going to marry Howard the Duck.
Jesus Christ.
But yeah, so with that all being said, so that those are our releases. Marvel is intentionally slowing down, so there is a few less, especially on the movie side, releases than normal. A lot of this was also outside of the MCU. Obviously all those Sony projects on the movie side, and then like the Spidey and His Amazing Friends, Moon Girl, Devil Dinosaur, Hit Monkey, Lego Marvel Avengers. That's all outside of the MCU, so that's not our continuity, so to speak. I think X-Men 97 may prove to be outside our continuity as well. There's a few
Wow.
things that lightly contradicted the MCU. So I have a feeling that X-Men 97 is supposed to be in a different continuity.
I did not realize we were going to get to the multiverse tonight, my man. But okay. Um, so no,
So
yeah, we didn't have as many movies to review because of the aforementioned strikes, right?
yeah,
You had the strikes from 2023, postponed a lot of content. We got one movie in the MCU. We had 3 Sony projects and then a bunch of Disney Plus shows. But I would say, honestly, the Disney Plus shows were really strong
they
and
were.
really delivered.
Yeah, I have a feeling we're going to be talking about a lot of those Disney Plus shows here in a second as we go through our awards.
Okay.
So awards here, we decided to theme this a little bit. It's the 12 gifts of giftsmiths. So there's 6 categories. We're each going to pick one thing per thing. So we're going to get the best out of the way first. Let's go for the big one first, the Red Ryder BB Gun Award, which is the best Marvel thing this year. And David, what you got? What
No, I'm
what
going to
was
let you
your
go first. Let me go.
okay?
I've got a couple. I've got multiple, but what was your big thing? Your best Marvel thing of the year?
So I is it the cheesy answer to say Deadpool and Wolverine?
No, it's not cheesy.
I think it will. I think Deadpool and Wolverine was my favorite. It just there was so much about it that was so good.
It I describe it at there's a part where you describe the MCU as like a plane in this phase 3, like a rocket upward trajectory. Now we're like, oh, now we're free falling right now. And Deadpool and Wolverine pulled us out of
Yeah.
the and then pulled us out of it. It's not a cheesy answer. I think it's a really, that was one of my 2 responses. It was really good. Well, let me restate that. It was very fun, very
Yeah.
graphic, very fan.
Oh, it served the fans. There
Just
to
yeah.
no end. And actually that's what's funny watching it on home release is some of those fan service moments. I noticed it, especially like when they introduce the team, right? When they introduce Elektra and Blade and Gambit, there are these moments that they wrote in to pause for clapping and for cheering
Oh,
that on home
completely,
release are a little bit awkward to
completely.
watch now because you're just like, yeah,
Yeah, totally. Like, oh, look, I'm gonna make a yeah. Though completely, completely. I think if you're looking at it from the movie perspective, the phase was grim, right? And
yeah.
you knew this was a guaranteed
This was Marvel Jesus.
bottled hit. Marvel, Jesus. There was no way this was not going to do well, right? There's no way, literally no
100%.
way, right?
100%.
The plot and story, not great.
Oh, bad.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Um, that's a pretty good best Marvel gift. Mine is different. Mine is a gift that I don't think like I was not expecting. My Marvel gift will be Catherine Hahn and Agatha All Along.
Nice. Yeah.
Dude, I was when they said, "Hey, we're making
An
2."
Agatha show.
I was just like, dude, you're like smelling your own fire. It's like, seriously, like that's what we're doing here. Like no one was clamoring for it, and we're gonna make a white Vision. I'm like, all right, whatever. Um, and then it came out, and then it was like, well done. The acting was really good. It pulled us in pretty quickly. Catherine Hahn was amazing. She
Oh,
was
she was great.
so
So
great.
good.
She was so great. And now I've been like really excited for it. And whereas before I was like, oh, whatever, like I'll watch this, but I'm not looking forward to it. She was awesome. And that was my surprise. Like every time you like Christmas time, you have a box. It could be big, it could be small. You're like, I don't know what this is going to be. Do I open the big one? Big ones kind of suck. Small ones are always great.
Right.
It was great. It was
Yeah.
small box. It was great.
Well, and I got to see Catherine Hahn in person. She while I was in the park, she did the candlelight processional. She led the candlelight procession.
She's awesome. Also, there's also a small, not small, but like an element where I've seen her in the parks a couple times, seen her interviews. She seems like super amped up. She's like
She seems bought in.
Yeah, totally. And not in like a
Yeah.
weird, like I'm getting a paycheck. I'm getting bought in.
Yeah.
But like she appreciates the fanfare and the character. And I was on Instagram and she was in the parks just walking around. And someone took a photo with her. So anyway.
Like Tom Holland has always been part of the fan base, right? Like very similar to, I think Catherine Hahn is getting there.
Did you ever see the video of Tom Holland at Disneyland?
Oh, where he dressed up as Spider-Man?
Yeah.
Yeah. So good.
So good. So good. God, we're such nerds. Anyway, I keep going. So that was our Red Ryder BB Gun Award.
Yeah, the Red Ryder BB Gun Award.
Best Marvel
gift. So moving on to socks, right? Everybody gets socks for Christmas. But, usually they're quality socks, and you need socks. When you go to work, you need socks. And so you maybe enjoy it, maybe a little bit secretly. So this award is for a project that not everybody was excited for, but you liked it. You either, or maybe you didn't enjoy it. Maybe it was something where you were just like, this kind of still sucks. So David, I went first in Red Ryder BB Gun. I'm going to let you go first on this one.
Okay. Because we can't always be 100% positive. I interpreted, so you get a sock gift and socks can be great. Like, oh, cool. I can use some socks. You'll be like, I don't need socks. My sock award is the announcement for Avengers Doomsday that Robert Downey Jr. will be appearing as Doctor Doom. That's my sock award. Like, didn't need this. Didn't want it.
Yeah, that was definitely, I know there's a lot of people that are excited, and I am disappointed in that. I think that I don't like it when Marvel is safe. I don't like it when they take the safe bet. That's just not my favorite projects, and this feels everything surrounding. I'm gonna like it. I'm gonna enjoy the movie, but it just everything is surrounding Doomsday just keeps coming up as like everything feels like there's just a safety net under it.
Yeah. Like Doom could have been anyone.
Yeah.
Didn't have to be
Robert Downey Jr. Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't have to be. Like don't need Chris Evans back. But I get the part where they're like, hey, we've got to play the hits and we got the same directors back. And I'm sure it will be great.
Yeah.
And so I have to like suspend my own kind of cynicism and be like, all right, whatever. I'm sure it'll be really good. But at the announcement, I just felt like this was a cheap cash grab.
Yeah.
Right. Like, let's bring.
I thought it was a joke when I first saw the headline.
Did you really?
Yeah. I was like, no. But then then it was real, obviously, and yeah, it feels like a cash grab. It feels like Doomsday is just the greatest hits right now.
I think I will be I am cautiously optimistic they will figure out how to blend it into the multiverse that they started, right?
Yeah.
Which they're not going to finish off with Kang. They're going to like veer in a different direction. Kudos to them for like having to like pivot onto
Right.
a different storyline. I'm cool with. I don't know. I can foresee, old Cap and new Cap and like having some fun interaction. Like I think it could be fun. I hope it's just not like this, like sad, not sad. This very like, let's just bring back the hits for the
Yeah.
sake of the nostalgia and the box office.
100%.
So
100%. Well, I went a different direction with the Sox Award. I went with something that I enjoy, but was not widely anticipated. I'm going to give this award to Spidey and His Amazing Friends season 3. Um, I watch a lot of Spidey and His Amazing Friends. It is a very frequent contributor at our house. And season 3, they brought in White Tiger and Reptile. Reptile showed up in season 2, but has been a major part of season 3. And the Spidey gang, so Spidey, Ghost Spider, and Miles Morales, who they call Spin on the show. They got dinosaur powers. They were able to transform into dinosaurs during season 3, which was pretty fun. Yeah. So I it's the dad pick, right? Like I am the father of a toddler, and so yes, the preschool show is something that I am probably uniquely uh positioned to pick.
so walk me through, like, how long is an episode? How many episodes in a season? Like,
It's like, I want to say like 15 minutes a episode.
okay,
The episodes on Disney Plus, I think, have, if I remember right, there's I watch so many of these shows and they all have a little bit different formats. I think the format for Spidey and His Amazing Friends is that, like, the episode that's on Disney Plus is actually 2 episodes, so it's a 30-minute chunk, but it's like 2
okay,
stories.
okay.
Um but it's like, it's traditional cartoons, so like, 50 some odd episodes per season or something like that.
I watched as a child of 70s, 80s. I watched an abundance of cartoons, Warner Brothers, like so many things.
Oh yeah.
Knowing me, do you think I would enjoy it?
Probably not. I
Jesus
I
Christ,
like,
shots fired.
no, it is very kiddie. It's very much, I would say it serves very well to get kids into Marvel. Like, get
That's
them
cool.
started early, which it totally has for Ted. His whole Christmas situation is all very Marvel themed. Um his birthday was almost Spidey. We ended up doing Taylor Swift, but um yeah, he loves Spidey, and so um and I love to see that too. Like, I started playing the Spider-Man 2 video game. I'm not allowed to play anything that has combat in it because he gets real serious when I do that, and Lisa becomes the enemy.
I was gonna say,
Um
is she like craving all of a sudden?
Yeah, exactly. Um so I it's funny, I actually started playing, and there's like some non-combat missions where you have to like go take photos and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
I've like saved those so that I can play them when Ted's around, so he can watch me play Spider-Man. He loves Spider-Man. He'll see, like, we even like took pictures of Spider-Man when we were in the parks and sent them back to him because he
Uh,
wasn't with us this trip, and he freaked out about it. He loves it. It's really cool to see that blossom, and it's cool that Marvel has provided that through, like, Spidey and His Amazing Friends, and there's a few other shows. I think there's like Avengers Super Buddies or something like that that we also watched. But I will say the animation is horrible on Spidey and His Amazing Friends. It's like 2000s video game. And none of the writing is in English. All of the writing, like on the walls and stuff, is in like fake language, which I think is just so that they can like dub over it and send it off to other countries without like a barrier there.
I'm in.
Yeah. But
Can't
yeah, I
can't
yeah.
wait till we can't wait until we review it on the main show.
Oh. But yeah, I mean, it makes it so at this point my son recognizes Rhino because Rhino's a major player in it. He recognizes Gobby, so Goblin, Green Goblin. He recognizes Iron Man because Iron Man shows up in it, and actually Iron Man's getting his own version of this show next year,
That's
which I'm
fun.
stoked for. He recognizes Spidey, Ghost Spider, and Spin. So yeah, it's a blast. Let's see here. Let's move on to the Fruitcake Award. So this is something that most people disliked, but you enjoyed it, right? So a little bit different from Socks, where like Socks was like, no one was really excited about this, but you know what, you enjoyed it, or maybe no one is expected it, but you hated it. This is the like most people are like, no, this sucks, but you kind of liked it. I'm gonna go first, and maybe we have the same answer here. There's I think an obvious choice here to me at least, which is Echo. I really loved Echo. I thought it was violent in the best ways, in the appropriate ways, right? Without violence for violence sake. It was touching at times. It was really cool from a representation lens. The story was just solid. It was just a solid, self-contained, just like all of the old school one-shot comics. It was just kind of a open and shut storyline, which I really liked. And it was more mature than a lot of the Marvel stuff we've had.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really funny because I'm realizing back to back, I took the preschool show and then I took the first Marvel thing. I went from the first R-rated Marvel movie to the preschool show to the first TVMA Marvel TV show.
Do we need to talk? Do we need to like
This is my cry for help.
we need to tweak this word for next year because it was only one choice. It was Echo, right? Like the much maligned is supposed to come out in 2023 a couple times. At one point in time, they're all going to be
We were
released.
convinced it was going to suck. If you go back and listen to our monthly bugles from like November, December, we were like, this is going to suck. It's been punted. And the reason we thought it was going to suck is because it had been moved so many times.
Well, they were going to, at one point in time, they're like, hey, we're going to release this like the Wednesday or Friday after Thanksgiving. And we're like, oh, you're just dumping it. It like, right. It was not great, but it was way better than expected. It was you could feel the you could feel like the heart behind it and what they were trying to do. And no, Echo is not like a big famous superhero, but you appreciated the character, you appreciated the culture. Watching it, it was this weird kind of gritty mix. It was like not for Ted, but it was like I enjoyed it. It was way better than expected. I don't think that we'll ever make another one. This fall under the Spotlight, right? Is that this? Yep. But I would hope that Echo shows up in something else, maybe Daredevil, right?
Yeah,
you could see that.
Yeah,
I'd be down for that.
Absolutely. Yeah, Daredevil's going to deal with Kingpin, so obviously Echo has a direct line there. So, and Daredevil showed up in Echo as well.
Yep.
So. Anything else on the Fruitcake Award? I mean, obviously that was the one pick, but did you have any others?
That's the main one. Like, unless you change the Fruitcake Award to like something that you despise that you make your family eat, unless you make that the award, like no.
So moving on to the Stocking Stuffer Award. So we're going to disqualify the big thing from the year, right? We're going to disqualify Deadpool and Wolverine. It's not a stocking stuffer. That's the big gift, right? But what was something that you loved? This can be anything from the Marvel year that isn't necessarily like on the level of Deadpool, Wolverine, but maybe something, something else.
I went in a different direction.
Okay.
I went with the White Elephant Award, the gift that you get that you don't want. So you're like, oh man, how do I how do I wrap this off and pawn this off to someone else? And this was for me the ongoing drama and ultimate postponement and cancellation of Blade. And that was my White
Yeah.
Elephant Award of like,
There's only going to be one Blade.
oh man, yeah. So that was my award. Like, it's not going to happen in its own standalone movie. Blade will probably show up almost certainly Doomsday or something else, like in
Yeah.
a appearance or team up thing. But that was the ongoing promise gift of like, hey, it's coming out 2025. By 2025 means it's not going to come out 2025, and then just disappeared. You still see articles and news pop up, mostly because of the Feige announcement, I think in October, where he said that even though the movie was postponed, Blade will still show up. I don't know if that means in the movie. I don't know if that means in Avengers Campus. I don't know. I don't know if that means in like the Spidey show. I have no idea.
Oh
But
God.
like that was my stocking award. What was your stocking award?
My stocking award is gonna go to X-Men 97. Um, I think we would be remiss to not talk about this in a year in review where we're including the best stuff. X-Men 97 was so good. It
So
felt
not your Cole award.
no, it is not my Cole award. um, X-Men 97 felt like the appropriate continuation of the 90s X-Men show. It was so just purely good, and it could have probably qualified for like the Sox award, although I think it was a little bit more anticipated. I think there were a lot of people that were excited for it, um but I really enjoyed it, and I'm so excited that we're getting more of it. I think it's a really interesting place to explore the X-Men more. Animation suits them really well.
Mm-hmm.
The 90s setting sets suits them really well.
Yep.
Um, Unfortunately, some of the themes that are just as prevalent in a 90s setting are still prevalent today. Um, but yeah, I think possibly X-Men 97 might have been X-Men 97 I think was the best Disney Plus TV show this year.
It could have been best Marvel gift. I thought about
Yeah.
it for a second, right? Because it pleased. It went to the, it like yeah, Disney Plus show, great. You've got this anchor thing which you could easily recreate for future seasons. You have the homage to the prior show that brings the fans who are like fans of the prior show. Um, it brings in the X-Men for the
Yeah.
first time, right?
Yeah, first time Disney has touched the X-Men.
Yep. And so you could see it like this could be the just the entryway into like something that's way larger. So I thought about I like it's a great call for stocking. I thought of it for like Marvel Gift of the Year. In some ways, I think it's better than Deadpool and Wolverine, but
That's
um,
where I stopped short of it being the best Marvel thing of the year. I like it. It's different than Deadpool and Wolverine, right?
it's
Deadpool and Wolverine
they're
is
different scales, right?
yeah,
Like, right? They're
yeah.
different scales, but if X-Men 97 and more cursing, I'm in. It's fine.
There you
Or
go.
F words. So
There you go. Let's see here. Let's move on to the Cole Award. So if you're a naughty little boy, you get Cole. Which is the worst gift. Although, sometimes with the way the economy is, sometimes you need some coal. Um but yeah, so David, what was your worst Marvel thing of the year?
I know mine. Mine was the February gift, the Valentine's Day movie,
I knew this. Go off, King.
Madam Web. Madam Web, which you've not seen, have you?
I have not.
Okay, I think it's on Netflix.
Yeah.
It has an 11% rating on Tomatometer. Peter Travers, Good Morning America, ABC News says, quote, God awful is too weak a word to describe everything that's wrong with the super diva cash grab, Madam Web. The real culprit here is the greed manifested by studio suits who keep hawking cheap knockoffs. Madam Web feels like a random collection of half-baked ideas thrown into the air in loud land with the cynical assumption that we'll buy any lazy hackwork that is Spider-Man adjacent. Kill me now, end quote. So that is my lump. That's my lump coal. I do not recommend you ever watch it. Not even on like a laundry day. Like don't do it. It's so bad. It's so bad.
Yeah. That is fair. And that's I'm struggling a little bit with the lump of coal award because I think the media has been positive for the most part that I've watched. I haven't watched any of the Sony stuff this year.
That's where your coal is.
Oh, it is.
The Craven? Holy cow.
Dude.
Wow.
Yeah, Craven. And maybe, I will take this sight unseen. I'll go ahead because I think this is the best I've got. Cuz I don't know that I want to call like the Bo DeMaio situation my lump of coal. I think it's unfortunate, but I think there's still more to be seen there and see how that one plays out. So instead, I'm going to take the failure of the Sony villains verse as my lump of coal. Just the overall,
It's a great call.
Madam Web was a weird choice for a movie anyways. And then to put Dakota Johnson in it, and then also to not know what direction you're going with how tied into Spider-Man it's going to be, and you end up overdubbing the villain, like all of the villain's lines, and then you move on to Venom, which by all accounts is fine but not great from everything I've read, which is unfortunate because that series started off so strong. The Tom Hardy Venoms started off so strong with that first Venom.
The first one made like $850 million. That's a blockbuster.
Absolutely. And then it's just the second one with Carnage just fell apart, and then by all accounts I've heard, this last one is just still falling apart. Which sucks because you introduced Noel, and so you blew Noel on a bad deal. And then Craven, man, like
Craven I heard Godfather 2. Kind of, I'm kidding. It's terrible. I listened to a podcast today, and they were like, "This is complete garbage," and this killed the Spider-Verse.
And they thought that they would save the villains verse. I've seen the pictures of the like the rhino that they brought in for it that looks awful, and
I heard that
I'm
was part of the best part of the movie.
and I'm just so disappointed, man. I'm just like, I wanted better. I wanted a Sinister Six universe.
It's not
I
gonna
like
happen.
I liked the idea that was kicking around at one point that like they were gonna they were going to ride that wave. This was around when Venom came out, right? Oh, we've got an up wave, and then um, Spider-Man No Way Home comes out, and oh, people are back interested in Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, and could Sony do something with that? And then there was kind of an updraft of like, oh, maybe we'll do Amazing Spider-Man 3 and it'll be in the universe of these villains, and that was part of the issue with Madam Web was they wanted to tie it into something there, right? They wanted to tie it into Andrew Garfield's Amazing Spider-Man, but then last minute decision decided not to, and so some of those plot elements ended up being weird and whatever, and that could have been really cool. um and ultimately it just ends up being just a fumbled bag all the way down.
Yeah, I think the plan to introduce each individual Sinister Six character movie by movie was a mistake.
Yeah, it's
Just
not the Avengers, right?
no, but if you want to do it like a Suicide Squad kind of thing and see what resonates, and then you could pull out, oh, hey, guess who tested well? Craven and this character, that person, like Rhino or Electro or Sandman or whomever, like, and then pull them out and give them in their own movies. But them creating this, I think they should have done it in hindsight, like being 2020, rather than creating a bunch of anti-heroes, just lean into the full villain thing, right? Like, just do, like, you take Craven, I'm not seeing the movie. I will probably see it out of some deep seated regret because it streams and I'm like, all right, pop this on. Do you want to watch this? Sure. But could have been a cool, true villain. And at some point in time, like, face off against Spider-Man. But by being this weird anti-hero, you're kind of in this middle land, and it doesn't really work for anyone, you know?
Yeah, I mean, Spider-Man's villains are some of the best villains in the Marvel stable. However, they are the best because they act against Spider-Man so well. They are not they are not the best solo character.
No, yeah, for standalone, no.
Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna give my Cole Award to the Sony Villains Universe.
Well, good news. We don't have to worry about that again because that will never happen. They're done making it.
She gone.
So she
She
gone.
gone.
So
So yeah, then let's do a little bit of self-service here for our sixth gift. Sixth gift, the Rudolph Award. I don't have any way to tie this to to what the award is for, but it's a fun name. It's Christmassy, and here we are. So we're a podcast. We've been recording. We'll hit our second podiversary next year for our year in preview show. That'll be around our second podiversary, which is wild.
second or third?
Second, because we started Iron Man 3 released on the 3rd of January in 2023.
Okay. I trust you.
And so we actually 2 years ago, right around this time, we recorded that episode, I think. It was
We
late in
did,
December.
we did a crappy test episode too.
Oh yeah, there is that. We should release the Civil War episode at some point.
Please don't. All right.
But so we've had a year of episodes. I'm gonna skip over all the monthly bugles. But I just to give give you a quick rundown of what we released this year, the same way we did with Marvel. So we had Ant-Man, we had the Phase 2 wrap-up show, we had Captain America Civil War, Doctor Strange, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, which was actually our first two-parter. We released that in two parts. Because we could not contain it to one episode. Spider-Man Homecoming, which also got released in two parts. Thor Ragnarok was boring enough that we only talked about it for one episode. Then our first three-parter, Black Panther, which we released three parts. That was a big one. We also had our special report with Tribe from the r/Bill Simmons podcast. Then we get into Avengers Infinity War with Eric as our guest, two-parter there. Ant-Man and the Wasp was a one-parter. Captain Marvel was a two-parter with Dan from the Supreme Resort and Scraping the Vault and Bowie Splaining. And then Avengers Endgame, which is a four-part episode, which we knew. We knew that was going to be a big one always, but it was our first and hopefully our only four-parter. So those are our 2024 releases. David, what is your favorite release from 2024?
Oh man, this is a tough one. It's like picking your favorite child.
It really is. It really is.
I enjoy all the team up stuff because it's always a bunch of fun nonsense. So the episode with Dan was really fun. The episode with Eric was great as well. It was very long. Kudos to everyone who gets through. For me, it's Black Panther. I feel like we spent a lot of time focused on the, really wanting to like give homage to the episode, to the movie. The movie meant a lot to me. It meant a lot to a lot of other folks. And I felt like we really did it as best we could to give it service and to give homage to various creatives. So it's not just the actors, but it's the costume designers, it's the people who are doing the score. It's such a rich movie that that in doing the episode got me to appreciate it more in a weird way.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I wholeheartedly agree. I think Black Panther was such a good episode. And it's not our funniest episode.
no, there's
by no
not
means.
much humor at all. Like
I think it's some of our more deep content. I did a comic.
There's a lot of I was going to say a lot of comic stuff in there too, right?
Which was really fun. Like you say, giving a lot of honor to the cultural significance of that movie, which I think can't be understated. I think we approached. I was really proud of those episodes.
Yeah, it was really good.
I am going to give my award for the best episode of the year though to probably one of our funniest episodes, or sets of episodes, I guess, which is the Captain Marvel episode. The nonsense that was that episode with Dan. Complete opposite end of the spectrum, right? We on one end of the spectrum.
You think so?
Yeah, there's Black Panther over here. It wasn't somber by any
means. No,
it's
solemn. It's like serious. It's like you're
Yeah.
taking it all into consideration and like you're giving it homage and due respect.
And then on the other end was Captain Marvel, and I mean we did work hard to, because that similarly had some big cultural impacts, right? It's the first woman solo hero, and we did try and give some credit to that. Unfortunate timing on its release. That was a difficult day that it was released. I would encourage anyone who has not listened to it since release to maybe go back and listen to those episodes when you're in a different mindset. Because the first Tuesday in November where it released was a tough day.
Wasn't great. Our Cajun accents were off the hook though. Oh my God.
And Dan's frosted tips from the 90s were so
Oh
good.
my god,
Um,
what a
so
mess.
yeah, I would definitely, and we did uncover some things, right? We uncovered some really interesting cultural parallels that were actually, I was surprised at the depth that we got with some of it. Particularly some of the stuff around the similarities to like the Israel Palestinian conflict and some
Mm-hmm.
things like that I didn't expect for us to necessarily uncover in that episode, but it was really cool to just to discover. And it was just a fun time to record. Now, I do want to give special shout outs to Eric. Eric joined us on 2 episodes this year, both the Infinity War and then Endgame, and he stuck with us for 6 hours
No,
recording.
Eric is the phase MVP for sure.
Yeah,
Like for putting up with us, for silencing dogs, for putting
dogs
up with
calling 911.
dogs calling 911 his watch, for all the nonsense. No, yeah, for sure. Like the tan one, we knew it was going to be kind of wild. It was going to be kind of out there, be a little loose. It was very
Yeah.
fun. There are moments where I re-listened to it a couple times, cracked up still, like a immature child I am, because I'm easily amused. But yeah,
Yeah. So, so yeah, those were our awards.
gentlemen,
Um,
your awards are your statues are in the mail. You should be getting those soon. You can add that to your resumes. So
and then look forward next month to our year in preview where we're going to talk about, the Marvel trailers, the Marvel things that are coming out in 2025. All of that. That's all going to be next month. So look forward to that next month. I think David, the last segment is yours with our
ah
birthdays of the month.
okay, let's do
Oh
this.
goodness. Sorry.
It's fine. A lot of stuff has happened. MCU, a lot of MCU stuff happens various months. December is a kind of a dry month, if you will. So in the month of December, December 1, 2017, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 5. There was a show, Runaways, Seasons 2 and 3, which debuted in 2018, 2019, which I never saw. No
I
Way
think it was on
Home.
Freeform, and then it's like been dropped, which sucks.
Yeah. Okay. No Way Home, which I just rewatched this past weekend, December 17th. So literally 3 years ago. What If, like the big bangers, I think, What If seasons
Oh yeah,
2 and 3. So they're right around like kind of Christmas Day-ish kind of releases in 2023 and 24. And the big one, December 2009. Disney bought a little startup company called Marvel Entertainment for $4 billion, which is $1 billion less than they made on Infinity War and Endgame in those two movies.
that's wild. That is wild. Well, David, I genuinely, it's been a great year. Year in review would be incomplete without me saying that, and I appreciate you, David. I appreciate
Oh,
all of our
thanks, buddy.
listeners for sure, for sure. I appreciate all of our listeners who've been here with us. Make sure you tell a friend about us. That is the best way we can grow. We try and do advertising every once in a while or whatever, and we really, podcasts don't grow that way. Podcasts grow by saying, "Hey, go listen to these guys. They have a good show." So tell your friends, let them know. Um, Listen to the other shows on the network. We've got Supreme Resort, who are finishing up hotels, I believe. I think the hotel series has been great.
It's
They
so
they
good.
they
It's so
think nobody loves it, but I love it.
it's great.
So,
I
yeah,
I literally have watched. I've literally walked those streets and I've thought about all those places. So
yeah. So go listen to Supreme Resort. Scraping the Vault is in their Dealer's Choice season. So they just watched the Disney Christmas Carol, Mickey's Christmas Carol, and I think they're about to watch. Well, if Asher is to believe, they're about to watch a Mr. T video from the 80s. I have
Really?
no, that's what Dan put in his proof of concept for Asher. So
Be still my heart.
and then let's see, who else do we have? Buena Vista Boys are working their way through. The Buena Vista Boys actually, I think, are about to put out their last episode for their season. They're doing seasonal. They're doing like 10 episode seasons. So their last one is about to release. I will be on the next Ears Up. So actually, as we record, it's tomorrow night. I'll be appearing on Ears Up doing the Santa Iger letters. What else? What am I forgetting? Oh, you just appeared on the Hub Crawl a couple weeks ago now.
I did.
Great appearance there. I think that's all of our. Oh, Bantha Milk. Bantha Milk is currently trying to do episodes with the new Star Wars show that's out. Skeleton Crew.
Yep.
I haven't watched it yet, so I haven't listened to those episodes.
I
But
I think you'll like it.
yeah, I want to. I have been excited about it. Problem is, it started coming out while I was in San Diego, and then
no, just dude, let them stack up. It feels a little like Stranger Things, but visually, it's awesome.
nice.
It is beautiful to watch, and I am down for a Star Wars story, which is not the Skywalkers, and so episode 3, I think they brought in some like the. I'm a big sucker for like Star Wars puppets, and that was great.
Nice.
Yeah, it's great. It's all good.
Cool. Well, yeah, so go check that out. I think that's everything. Listen to Bowie Splaining. They're not on the network, but we always like to plug them because they're a good time. So go listen to Bowie Splaining. And with that all said, have a great holiday season. Have a great end of the year. Have a great new year. And we will see you. We'll see you next year. I had to make the dad joke. Enough said. Fresh baked. We're done.
Good God.